As I get older, the hardest part of this is the motivation part of this deal. Staying motivated at 6 o'clock in the morning to do this. Morning, everybody. What's going on in the world? Greetings from Cody, Wyoming, the east entrance of Yellowstone Park. Waiting for metal to heat up. And we're going to smash it against this anvil. And the world will be right in Cody. About halfway through my first cup of coffee this morning. It's a hurry up and wait game. Gotta let the ends of those get hot enough where I need a forge on them. Where's everybody from this morning? I'll show you what I'm building here in just a minute. Change hammers. So I did these yesterday. Now we're going to work on this end. These are going to be wall hooks. A little three-dimensional wall hook. Texas. Greetings from Cody. I like that one. Takes a little while for everything to get heated up. The anvil is a big heat sink, and so it's been sitting here 40 degrees. I keep the shop at about 40 degrees. Hello, Ohio. And so that anvil is a big heat sink when it comes to that hot steel. You touch it and it just sucks the heat out of it. So it'll take a little while for that anvil face to get warm enough to actually be able to forge on it. Kind of build up to this. So I'm just doing a little whale tail on the back of those, and then we're gonna curl that up. That'll make the point of the wall hook. And the bad part about these is there's lefts and rights, so I have to be conscious of which way I'm going to twist these. So I have to do half of them with the curl on with the head facing west and half of them with the curl with the head facing east. This gas forge is convenient, but it doesn't build up the heat that a coal forge does. And so it takes a lot longer for the metal to get hot into the core of the metal. And so it doesn't hold the heat as good as metal heated in a coal forge. And so it takes a couple of heat cycles for the steel going in and out of the forge to get this stuff up to really good forging temperature. Ohio, Texas. Greetings from Cody, Wyoming. I've literally had the forge going about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, something like that. How's the weather everywhere? We've been very fortunate right here. It's snowing and kind of miserable everywhere else in the state of Wyoming, but right here in Cody, we're having pretty good luck with the weather so far. I don't think it got down to 30 degrees last night. So now we'll do the decorative part of this little show. Well, I'm going to put a little decorative scroll on that. And that'll end up being the hook. Now what I'll have to do is do a courtesy. Have to do a courtesy quench. Give us a little coffee can. Fill it full of water. Try to do them as sets if we can. I think I've got about a dozen of those in there, and it's a real pain in the butt. Good here at Texas 49, but high today will be 65. Well, that's pretty good. If it gets to 40, we'll be doing good, I think. 40 or 45. We've had very fortunate with the weather here. We've only had one snow yet this fall. These are going to be wall hooks here, kind of very decorative wall hooks. Got an Etsy store. That's where most of my business is. I know that's backwards, but it's Cody Ironworks. Try not to show my cigar on the live because YouTube gets mad at me if I show my cigar. Okay, so let's see. I might move this just so you can kind of see what I'm doing here. So right there, that's a that right there is a quench tank. Got a little water in it. Push him off, push the end of that off. They don't want that end to change. Like that. I generally use a different kind of wire brush, but when you're doing the inside of these hooks, one of these painter's brushes is the only thing that'll get down in there. So I'll piece out now, and you'll get to see how this goes. But I'm going to try to do a couple of these as sets, just so you guys can see how I do this. Like that. I flare that out so when you hang something on that hook, there's nothing sharp there. If you hang a heavy coat on a sharp pointed course, you punch a hole in it. So I do that decorative, almost looks like a ponytail. It's supposed to represent the hair of a horse's tail. Okay, so now we have another vise set up in here. But we'll use this vise over here today. So I've got this vise. And this is just a bending tool I made out of an old monkey wrench with a piece of rifle barrel welded to the end of it. Get this vise set up like that. Bring the pony over. And I don't measure, I just kind of go by his face. Good. Well, we got him in there, Bill. So that's why there are a right and a left. Now I'll put him back in, and I do two little divots for the screws to go. So here's his brother. Sometimes when you punch that with the chisel, you'll make a little sharp spot. It's almost like when you clip your fingernails, you get a little sharp spot, and you got to go back in with the emery cloth and rub that off. Well, that's what I did right there, is I took that off. So that's why there are a right and a left. They go out as a set of two. Try to get them out as sets two. It doesn't always work out that way. So if I need 8, I do 10. And then what I'll do is I'll try to get them to where they're a matched set as close as I can. Then I'll have 2 or 3 extras. And then the extra ones I'll put in the shop in here, and I'll sell locally here. They go on I don't have the board sitting out, but I generally have a board in here that goes downtown at the Art League, and the Art League gets the leftover stuff. All right, I'm going to go grab me a little more coffee. Stand by. One of the things about being a blacksmith, got to make your own tools up. And of course, a lot of times you make tools out of other tools. So that's just the head off of an old little ball peen hammer, like a 12-ounce ball peen hammer. But this tool, I'm going to use this smaller one. And these heads they've been used so much that most of the hardness is out of them. They've been heated up so much that the temper's been out of them, so they're not really hard like a regular hammer. We're done with the forging component of him. Now what I'll have to do is I'll drill out those holes, and then we'll put the finish on him. You know, most wall hooks are funny. Everybody's got them in their house. We all use them. But most of the time, the hook is all down here, so when you have something hanging on the hook, it's covered. You never see it, right? The only time you ever see the hook is when you take the coat off and you go outside, and then the hook is there. Very rarely do you ever see a decorative style hook like that, where it was a very Victorian thing, and you don't see them now. Kind of an old, they're very personal, very personalized kind of a thing. So as far as the forging goes, he's done. And now what I'll do is I'll drill those out. I'll just drill those holes out, and I'll put him in the oven, and I'll get him back up to temperature. Then we'll put my coating on him. I use a traditional linseed coating to coat him. And of course, they're not exact. What I'll do is I'm making so many that I'll match them as pairs as close as I can get. Because of course, because I don't use a jig, there's going to be a little difference in them. But right, that's the thing about art. You get artwork. There's no two that are going to be exactly the same. Even in the horse faces, you can see, even from one side to the other, faces are just a little different. And I've made hundreds and hundreds of these. I've probably done 600 or 700 of these horse heads. If you like the content, subscribe. Go watch some of my other content. That would be really great if you like what I'm doing. I'm going to adjust these. It's a good thing about making your own tools is you can adjust with the fit stuff. And if you're making tools like this, you don't ever want to make them out of hardened material because the quenching and heating cycle will make them brittle. Yeah, it's a linseed oil based finish that I use. They've been using flaxseed oil on this stuff since the Middle Ages, so or maybe before. So, but most of these tongs I make in house. But you can see that this set of tongs works good after I get the hook made because I can hold stuff in there and maintain my angle. Where these ones are made from flat stock that hasn't been bent much yet. if you're curious about the process and about all this, I've done 1,000 videos, and you can go watch either my long form videos or my short videos and see the whole process done. The long video that's pinned at the top of my page actually shows the whole process of finishing hooks. Not this particular hook, but another different kind that I make. So. Generally, I wouldn't do these as sets like this. I would just do all the horse heads, do all of the decorative tail ends of them, bend all of them. I wouldn't do them in twosies, threesies. I'd set up more of a production because there's 10 of those hooks in there. I did the heads yesterday morning. Yeah, I got to get up and get my stuff done early these days because by 10 or 11 o'clock, people start showing up in the shop, and then I don't get anything done. So I've been up trying to get up early and get stuff done before everybody shows up around here. If you like the content, if you like what I'm doing, go watch some of my other videos. I do make spurs, yeah. And I do make them out of one-piece steel, yeah. Appreciate it. All right, I'm gonna go get my cup of coffee. Yeah, I'm not my name. I ain't Clapper, but I do make spurs, and I do make one-piece spurs, and I do. You can see them on my YouTube page. You can see that I've done a lot of videos. A couple of my most popular videos are of spur making content, bits and spurs. I don't have any of my custom spurs in here right now. I do have a bit or two in here that I've made. I do a lot of branding irons. I don't do much custom stuff anymore because I'm so busy with the Etsy store that I'm so busy with the Etsy store I don't have a chance to do much custom stuff, which is fine by me. I'd almost rather do the production stuff. I don't have to deal with all the people. All right, well, I'll spin you around here so you can watch me do the twist the heads of these. All right, let me go grab the other one. As the inside of that forge gets hot, the heating cycle shorten up between heats because, of course, it builds up the heat. The brick gets hot, and then instead of working like a heat sink, it works like a heat pump. Puts all of that heat back into that material, so it doesn't take quite as long for them to get hot. Okay. Well, it looks like there's a bunch of people in here. Anybody from anywhere interesting? We're in Cody, Wyoming. This is east entrance of Yellowstone Park. And the park is shut down for the season now, but they'll start doing winter trips here on snowmobiles and stuff here in the next couple of weeks. So if you want to come visit in the wintertime, you can do a snow coach tour or rent a snow machine and go into the Yellowstone Park. That's the forging done. Something a little different for YouTube. I don't think you see a lot of this stuff on your lives in the morning. Beats the heck out of watching somebody play Call of Duty. Beats the news too right now. Sick of watching the news. I can't even stand it. All right, there's another set done. When you put that steel in the forge, when you bring it out, of course, it has a chemical reaction that oxidizes. And so that's the mill scale or the forge scale. And I'm using the brush to kind of brush it back. So it kind of, when it's real hot, you can see where it gets almost shiny. Well, that's where I touch that with the brush, it almost pushes that mill scale back in. And then anything that's loose, it comes off. You guys like this, hit the thumbs up button, would you? It gets more people engaged and gets more people in here watching what I'm doing. If you like what I'm doing, I'm sure if you don't, you've rolled on to something else by now. Guys got any questions? Throw them into the comments. I'll try to answer. That's the way I like them to look. And do the little scrolly bit. Thanks for the likes. Appreciate it. If you're interested in seeing the other finished products, you can either go watch my other videos or go to the Etsy store. There's a link in there. Turned out okay. One of the things that makes this easier is having tongs that fit good. If you don't have tongs that fit your work good, you're always screwing around trying to adjust your work in your tong, and that doesn't work very good. It makes your day go very long. And we'll let that heat get in there a little bit. Morning, everybody. Greetings from Cody, Wyoming. Just a little bit so you can see kind of what I'm doing more. So next step, we do the hook. Nice deep hook for hanging coats and stuff on. Purses mostly, I think. I think there's a lot of purses that get hung on them. All right. Warming up. Now we're cooking with gas. Making a little progress this morning. Now you could just leave them like that and put the dimples in, and then the the hook, the horse head would stick against the wall, but I really like them sticking out. I like the three-dimensional aspect of them. All right, back to the vise. Here we go. Back to the vise. Ta-da! No, I sure can't. I know Schadenfreude. I know Grusebusen, but I'm not even gonna try. Hey, I'm pretty happy with that. Happy little horse faces. Happy little horse faces. We're 98% done right there. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody's Wednesday is starting good, or Thursday or Tuesday, wherever you are in the world. Start to warm up. It's getting warm in this shop. Doesn't take long with that forge going. I can tell you one thing, during the day, that heater doesn't kick on in here. Thanks for the likes. I really appreciate that. That, helps the algorithm and all of that stuff. Makes everything better. Makes more people see the content. If you're curious about what I'm doing and you want to see some of the other stuff I do, you can go watch some of my other content. I've got over 1,000 videos that I've created over the last, got to be 12 years on YouTube. I do everything from knives and axes. I do all my own tools. There you can see back there, there's some axes that I did. A lot of jewelry. A little bit of everything. Total blacksmith. Thanks for the comments. Thanks for the likes. Appreciate it. He's fairly well done now. He's 90% done. I'll have to drill the holes out. I could punch them, but it's just easier, especially when you're doing a whole bunch of these, to take them to the drill press, drill the holes out, and then I'll put my secret formula on him that'll make him shiny and pretty. I don't know that there's anybody else doing this style of hook. I've yet to see any, but that doesn't mean they won't be tomorrow, now that I'm showing these on YouTube. Something a little different. And you only got to see half of the work. Most of the work is in the face. And that's what I did yesterday. If you want to watch me do those horse faces, you can go watch some of my other content. Thanks. Thanks for the likes. I appreciate it. So I'm just using a little wire brush there to take the fuzzies off. It's kind of like brushing your teeth. It takes the fuzzies off your teeth. There's the other one's brother. Now, they aren't going to match perfect because the heads are a little, they vary in length by 1/8 of an inch or 3/8 of an inch. The curves, it's one of those things that they're very arty. They're very individual. And I'll try to match them up as close as I can. And when I'm doing 10 or 12 of them, I'll take them and I'll match them as close as I can as sets. But there's going to be 8 of these going to one guy. And so he's going to kind of get all of them. So he'll be able to match them any way he wants. I have no idea how he's going to mount it. What he's going to mount it to. Back to the anvil. Greetings, everybody. Good morning. If you're just coming in new, thanks for dropping in. Thanks for watching me this morning. Open it up here. It'll go from about 40 degrees in this shop to about 90 degrees in here in about an hour with this forge going. Even with the vent going and the fan going, it gets fairly hot. Get a little snow overnight, and I'll turn that fan on in about a half an hour. All the snow will be rolling off the roof. Of course, everything gets hot. The anvil gets hot, the vise gets hot, everything gets hot. I call that a whale tail. I don't know what everybody else calls it, but see, we kind of ran out of heat there in the middle, so I'll have to go in there and doctor that a little bit. Thanks for the likes. I appreciate it, everybody. decorative. Got 10 of these to do. We're done. I'm down to 4 this morning. Decorative. Sorry. 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 Well, while I'm letting those heat up, I'll do this other hook. Come back over here and I'll go ahead and twist up this other hook. I already have done. That. Not off the sharp edge. Give him a little toothbrush. What that does is that brush is where I touch that with the file. It kind of hides that file marks. That brush will hold it in the corner of that. See there? Now when I put it back in the forge, that'll scale back up and you won't even be able to tell that I touched it with the file. There's the whale tail done. Little heat's gathering up on those. As you use them, of course, the heat rolls back the reins on those, and they get a little uncomfortable after a while, so you have to quench them off good. Using this shelf in the saw face of this anvil to hold that like that. I put that against there. It just helps me keep everything straight. While I do that, the great thing about being me is I get to build what I like. And when they're not fun to build anymore, I quit building them. I build something else. So there'll be a limited supply. When I'm not building them anymore, that'll be the end of it. And in 1,000 years, maybe there'll be a few around. And somebody will go, wow, that blacksmith, he had a little talent. He's pretty good. I don't bother stamping them. First, I probably should, but I built so many that it would be almost impossible to stamp everything I do. Yeah. Very good. Well, I'll show this process one more time using the quench tank. How do I do this? In that coffee can, there's water. Quench off that delicate end. Like that. something like that. Just knock the loose scale off. I don't worry too much about it. I just don't want that scale going back in the forge and hooking to something else. So I knock the loose scale off before I put it back in the forge. But I freehand that, and almost no other blacksmith does that. Everybody else uses a jig for freehanded. I've just done a million of them. I get them fairly close. If you're not happy with them being a little different, then I guess you'll have to go find another blacksmith to build your hooks for you. I use this as kind of like a square to make sure everything's kind of straight, true. I know that this is a 90-degree angle in here. Got there, got 3 more to bend up, and then I'm done with them. Thanks, everybody, for sticking around this morning. Thanks for coming in and liking. Appreciate it. If you like the content, there's a link to the Etsy store. If you'd like to see some of the work, if you'd like to see me do other work, you can go to the YouTube channel. Go check out some of my other videos. I do hundreds and hundreds of short videos, little 1-minute videos. I've got a little long content on there. There's some pretty interesting stuff on there. I think it's interesting. If you're interested in getting into blacksmithing, let me know. I do lessons, and I can point you in the right direction of a local blacksmithing group in your area. All right, more bending. Well, I think that does it for me this morning. Appreciate everybody coming in. If you have any questions about the shop or anything, got any questions about anything, more than happy to answer. If you like the content, please subscribe. Or watch some of my other videos. That'd be the best way for you to help me promote this and keep this going. It gets me big motivation when people come into the lives and watch me do this and ask questions and engage. I'm in this shop by myself. I'm a one-guy show. And I do make my living at this. This is how I make my living. So a little validation is great. Makes me, after 36 years of doing this. Thanks, everybody. I hope you have a great day. Watch out for more of my lives. If you subscribe, then you'll see when I'm coming on, and I'm always doing something different. Might be doing knives at some point in time here in the near future. Thanks, everybody. Get hot-headed, always wear your safety squints.